The highest skill leaves no trace. The greatest power makes no display. The true master appears ordinary. This is the paradox of Taoist competence. While everyone else fights to prove themselves, to demonstrate their abilities, to gain recognition, the Taoists understood something profoundly different. Visible power is vulnerable power. Today I want to show you why the wisest practitioners throughout history deliberately concealed their competence, why showing your capabilities makes you weaker, and how hidden skill creates untouchable advantage. This isn't about false modesty. This is about strategic invisibility. Let me explain the power of hidden competence and why Taoists never show their hand. The Tao Te Ching, written around the 6th century BC, contains a warning that masters have followed for 2,500 years. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. This isn't just about talking versus silence. It's about demonstration versus concealment. The moment you prove your competence, you've lost the advantage that competence provides. Think about Cook Ting, the legendary butcher from Zhuangzi's writings. He could carve an entire ox so skillfully that his knife never dulled. He used the same blade for 19 years without sharpening it. When Lord Wenwei praised his skill, Cook Ting didn't boast. He didn't demonstrate. He simply explained, "What I care about is the way, which goes beyond skill." Notice what he didn't do. He didn't start a butchering school. He didn't write a manual. He didn't tour the kingdom showing his technique. He just quietly continued his work. This is strategic concealment. Cook Ting understood that once everyone knows your method, your advantage disappears. Once your skill becomes visible, it becomes copyable. Once you demonstrate mastery, you create competitors. The Taoists observe this pattern everywhere. The tree that grows straight and tall gets cut down for lumber. The tree that's gnarled and twisted lives to old age. Visibility attracts extraction. Zhuangzi tells another story. A man possessed extraordinary swimming ability. He could dive into whirlpools and emerge unharmed. People gathered to watch. They begged him to teach them. He refused, not from selfishness, but because he understood that his ability came from alignment with water's nature, not from technique. Any attempt to formalize it would destroy the essence. This reveals something crucial. The highest skills cannot be taught through demonstration. They can only be discovered through personal practice. Showing your power actually prevents others from developing their own. But there's a deeper reason Taoists conceal competence. In ancient China, being known as exceptionally skilled was dangerous. Rulers would conscript you. Enemies would target you. Jealous rivals would sabotage you. The Tao Te Ching states, "The sage wears coarse clothes but carries jade in his bosom." This is the principle of strategic ordinariness. Look common externally while cultivating excellence internally. Historical records show that during periods of political instability, the most visible talents were the first to be eliminated. Scholars who displayed brilliance were executed. Warriors who demonstrated prowess were assassinated. Those who survived were the ones nobody noticed. The competent who appeared incompetent. The wise who seemed ordinary. The powerful who looked weak. Invisibility was survival. This created an entire philosophy around concealment, not just hiding your abilities, but deliberately cultivating an unremarkable exterior while developing extraordinary interior capabilities. The martial arts tradition absorbed this completely. The greatest fighters never looked like fighters. They appeared as farmers, merchants, even beggars. This wasn't deception. It was strategic positioning. Think about what happens when you demonstrate competence in modern life. You prove you can do something well. What's your reward? More of that work. More responsibility. More demands on your time. You become the person everyone relies on, the one who fixes problems, the one who handles difficult tasks. Your competence doesn't free you. It traps you. The Taoists saw this trap 2,000 years ago. They called it being useful to others. And they understood that being useful makes you consumable. People will extract your skills until you have nothing left. The Tao Te Ching warns, usefulness brings trouble. The useful tree gets cut down. The useless tree survives. This applies to human competence. Display your abilities and they will be harvested. But hidden competence operates differently. You possess the skill. You can deploy it when necessary. But you don't advertise it. You don't demonstrate it casually. You keep your capabilities in reserve. This creates multiple advantages. First, you maintain strategic surprise. Nobody knows what you're capable of until you choose to reveal it. This gives you control over when and how your skills are used. Second, you avoid creating competitors. When people don't know your methods, they can't copy them. Your techniques remain unique. Your advantages persist. Third, you escape the burden of expertise. Once people know you're skilled, they expect performance. They demand consistency. They judge every action. Hidden competence frees you from these expectations. The principle appears throughout Chinese strategic thought. Sun Tzu in The Art of War. All warfare is based on deception. Appear weak when you are strong. Appear strong when you are weak. But Sun Tzu was talking about temporary tactical deception. Taoism goes deeper. It's not about appearing weak while being strong. It's about genuinely not needing to appear anything. The Taoist master doesn't care how they appear. They're not performing weakness to hide strength. They're simply not performing at all. They exist beyond the game of appearances. This is what modern culture completely misses. We're taught to build personal brands, to showcase our skills, to demonstrate our value, to prove our competence constantly through visible achievement. Every accomplishment must be posted. Every skill must be advertised. Every capability must be documented and displayed. We're optimizing for visibility, not for effectiveness. But the Taoists understood that visible competence and effective competence are often opposites. The more you show, the less you have. The more you prove, the weaker you become. Here's why. Demonstrating competence creates expectations. You prove you can do something once, and now you're expected to do it always. You've created a standard you must maintain. Hidden competence has no such burden. You can perform when conditions are right and withdraw when they're not. You're not locked into public commitments. You maintain complete flexibility. Think about the greatest strategic victories in history. They came from capabilities nobody knew existed. Hidden weapons, concealed tactics, abilities that appeared only at the decisive moment. The Mongols didn't advertise their cavalry tactics before invading. The British didn't publish radar technology specifications during World War II. Strategic competence operates in darkness until deployment, but there's an even subtler advantage. Hidden competence allows continuous improvement without scrutiny. When people don't know your current level, they can't measure your progress or lack thereof. You're free to experiment, fail, learn, and develop without judgment. Visible competence means visible failure. Every mistake is documented. Every setback is noted. Hidden practice eliminates this pressure. The Tao Te Ching observes, the sage acts without claiming the results as his own. He achieves merit and does not dwell in it. In this fashion, his merit never leaves him. This describes a paradox perfectly. By not claiming your achievements, they remain yours. By not displaying your competence, you keep its power. Concealment preserves while revelation depletes. Zhuangzi tells a master carpenter who walked through a forest. His apprentice pointed to a massive old oak tree. "Master, this tree is huge. Why don't you use it?" Master Shi replied, "That tree is useless wood. That's why it has lived so long. All the useful trees were cut down young. Uselessness preserved it." The apprentice asked, "Then should we try to be useless?" Master Shi said, "Don't try to be anything. Just be natural." The tree didn't try to be useless. It just grew according to its nature. This is the deepest teaching. You don't strategically hide competence through calculated deception. You simply don't feel the need to display it. The display impulse itself dissolves. Modern culture is built on the opposite principle. Your worth is determined by demonstrated value. You must prove yourself constantly. Invisible competence is treated as non-existent competence. But this creates a devastating trap. You spend more energy proving competence than developing it, more time demonstrating skills than acquiring new ones. Visibility becomes a goal instead of capability. The Taoists reverse this entirely. They spend zero energy on demonstration and maximum energy on cultivation. All effort went into actual development, none into display. This compounds dramatically over time. Person A spends 50% of energy on skill development and 50% on demonstration. Person B spends 100% on development and 0% on demonstration. After 10 years, Person B has twice the skill, but nobody knows it. Person A has half the skill, but everyone knows it. Who has the advantage? In the short term, Person A. In the long term, Person B. Because skill compounds. Reputation doesn't. Skill creates options. Reputation creates obligations. Skill gives you freedom. Reputation gives you performance pressure. The Tao Te Ching states, "The wise man does not display himself, therefore he shines. He does not justify himself, therefore he is distinguished. He does not boast, therefore he is merit." This isn't moral advice. It's strategic observation. Non-display creates distinction precisely because everyone else is displaying. Concealment becomes visibility through contrast. In a world of constant demonstration, the person who doesn't perform stands out. In a culture of endless self-promotion, genuine skill without advertisement becomes magnetic. But you must be patient. Hidden competence takes longer to be recognized. Sometimes it's never recognized. And that's fine. Recognition isn't the goal. Competence is. The Taoist master lives their entire life without anyone knowing their true capabilities. They die with skills undemonstrated, and they consider the success not failure because they enjoyed the freedom of hidden competence. They avoided the burden of reputation. They escaped the trap of expectations. They lived according to their nature rather than others' demands. This is impossibly difficult in modern culture. We're addicted to validation. We need others to see our achievements. We measure our worth by external recognition. But every ancient wisdom tradition says the same thing. External validation is a trap. The need for recognition is weakness. True power operates in silence, not because power is secret, but because power that needs demonstration isn't real power. Real competence is self-validating. It doesn't require witness. Think about the skills you've developed that nobody knows about, the problems you've solved privately, the growth nobody saw. Don't those feel more genuinely yours than the achievements you've advertised? There's a purity to hidden competence. It's untainted by performance, uncorrupted by approval seeking, undistorted by others' expectations. It belongs completely to you. The Taoists understood this completely. They cultivated ability for their own sake, not for recognition. They developed skills because development itself was valuable, not because demonstration would bring rewards. This creates a completely different relationship with competence. You're not acquiring skills to impress anyone. You're acquiring them because they align with your nature, because they serve your purposes, because cultivation itself is the goal. When you remove the display motive, learning transforms. You're no longer optimizing for impressive results. You're optimizing for genuine understanding. You can take longer, go deeper, explore more freely. Hidden competence also protects you from premature assessment. People judge visible skills constantly. They rate you, rank you, compare you. Hidden skills develop without interference. By the time your competence becomes visible, it's already mature, fully developed, unassailable. You're not showing potential. You're demonstrating mastery. This is completely different from showcasing progress. The Tao Te Ching teaches, he who grasps loses. He who holds on is disappointed. The sage desires no desire and values no value. This applies to reputation, recognition, and demonstration. The moment you grasp for recognition, you lose the freedom that makes competence powerful. The moment you hold on to reputation, you're trapped by it. Hidden competence remains ungrasped and therefore unconstrained. So the Taoist way isn't about hiding your abilities from insecurity. It's about freeing your abilities from the distortions of display. It's about cultivating power without the corruptions of performance. In practical terms, develop skills privately. Deploy them strategically. Don't advertise capabilities before they're needed. Don't demonstrate competence casually. Keep your full range of abilities in reserve. This doesn't mean lying about what you can do. It means not volunteering information, not performing unless necessary, not proving yourself to satisfy others' curiosity, maintaining strategic ambiguity about your true capabilities. The greatest advantage is a capability nobody knows you have, the skill you never mentioned, the ability you never demonstrated. This is your reserve power, your strategic surprise, your hidden strength. Remember, those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know. The loudest performers have the least actual competence. The true masters operate in silence. The useful tree gets cut down. The useless tree survives. Display makes you harvestable. Concealment makes you sustainable. Visibility attracts extraction. Invisibility preserves autonomy. This is the power of hidden competence. Not weakness hiding as strength, but strength that doesn't need to hide or reveal. Capability that exists beyond the game of appearances entirely. If this exploration of why Taoists never show their power resonated with you, and you want more insights on strategic invisibility and ancient wisdom for modern advantage, please subscribe, and share.